For this lesson, we're going to take a look at the conversions when we're dealing with square units and cubic units, so area and volume is typically how we'd perceive that. So if I'm calculating the area of a meter squared, well, it would be 1 meter by 1 meter, which is going to give me a total area of 1 meter squared. If I'm converting the side squared into centimeters squared and millimeters squared, well, 1 meter would be the same as 100 centimeters and 100 centimeters, and this is going to give me an area of 100 by 100, (10,000) centimeters squared. If I'm going to millimeters, then I'm going to have 1,000 by 1,000, which means that this is going to give me an area of 1 million millimeters squared. So we know that 1 meter squared is the same as 10,000 centimeters squared, or 1 million millimeters squared. I could do the same thing if I wasn't starting with the unit of 1. So in this case, we're going to do the same thing with a rectangle. If I have 2 meters by 4 meters, then that's going to give me 8 meters squared. In this case, if I multiply the 4 meters into centimeters, I have 400 centimeters by 200 centimeters, which means that I actually have 80,000 centimeters squared. Or if I do it in millimeters, I have 4,000 millimeters by 2,000 millimeters. I have 8 million millimeters squared. If we're using the ratios in C in order to check for the areas in E, then when I take a look here, well, if I said that 1 meter squared was 10,000, then if I take my original number of 8 and multiply it by 10,000, then I get that 80,000, which is correct. If I said 1 meter squared is 1 million millimeters, then 8 meters squared should be 8 million millimeters squared. So that works. Whereas length involves one dimension, area is dealing with 2 dimensions. So we need to account for the fact that we're changing not just one part, we're changing 2 parts. So the area conversions between any 2 square units is the square of the length conversion because we're adding it to both sides. So if I said that I had the linear units of kilometers to meters, and that would be 1 to 1,000. If I do the area units, that's going to be 1 squared to 1,000 squared, or 1 to a million, which means that if I'm converting 2.5 kilometers to meters, that's going to be 2,500 meters. If I did kilometers squared to meters squared, then I'm going to square that difference of units. Instead of just saying it's going to be 10 to the power of 3, I'm going to do 10 to the power of 3 to the power of 2, or 10 to the power of 6, which means that this would be moving 3 places to the right, and then 3 places to the right again. Which means that I'm moving 6 places to the right in this case. So 2.5 kilometers squared is going to be 2,500,000 meters squared. So I multiply it by whatever the unit conversion is squared, or the unit conversion times the unit conversion again. If I'm going from meter squared to millimeter squared, well, we've already done that conversion. I would say that that would be, if I'm using the line up here, going from the unit over, and it has 3 decimal places, so 12 times 10 to the power of 3 But I need to do that twice, so I'm going to square it. That'd be the same as 12 times 10 to the power of 6 millimeters squared, or 12 million millimeters squared. If I'm going in the opposite direction, going from centimeters to kilometers, then in this case, to go from centimeters to kilometers, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the left. If I'm doing the squared to the squared, then I'm going to say that this would be the same as 41500 times 10 to the power of negative 5 squared, which is going to give me 41500 times 10 to the power of negative 10. I would state this would be 0.00000415 kilometers squared. In the last one, when I'm going to kilometers to megameters, then I'm going to start here and then move 3 places to the left again, or 10 to the negative 3. So I'm going to say that this would be 389,275 times 10 to the negative 3 squared, or 389,275 times 10 to the negative 6, which would give me 0.389,275. If I'm expressing it in standard notation, I can do that for all these. This one is just going to become 1.2 times 10 to the 7 millimeters squared. The second one is going to become 4.15 times 10 to the negative 6 kilometers squared. And the last one, I would probably round to 0.39. Oh, sorry, that's 0.39. 3.89 times 10 to the negative 1 megameters squared.